Hello, I am Lisa J. Stocks here for your Sunday Stock Talk episode. Let me see. So, today we're going to be talking about ways to build wealth. We work hard for our money, and um, we might feel like we're working so hard and the rich just seem to get richer and richer effortlessly. But I don't want us to take on that feeling, that mindset. So I'm going to go over some points and some things that I'm incorporating or striving to incorporate in my life in order to be on track, in order to build wealth. Now, hey Peachy, Peachy's here for a live. You're free today? Great. Okay, I'm not doing vertical today, I'm doing regular. Um, so it's a little chilly out. I just went out to my garden for a quick minute. I picked some flowers, made myself a quick little bouquet. I think I did good. Um, they're very fragrant, so I'm smelling them. And let's get started. So, we're going to be talking about building wealth, lots of different ways. I did put the article that inspired this live in the description if you want to take a look at it. But we're going to go through ways in order to make your money work harder for you. And this is very important, especially right now. I'm not rich. Many of us are not. But that doesn't matter. Whatever we have to try to make it grow as much as possible. If that's our goal, and I know it's my goal, and if you are supporting this channel and you are here, most likely you have the same money mindset that you want to have financial knowledge, financial freedom, stability, whatever you are aiming for, whatever you are calling it right now. So let's start with the first point, and that is never stop learning about money. Build your knowledge and take the time to put in the work in order to uh, have your have everything on track. Know what's going on. Listen to podcasts. Listen to experts. Do the research. Make sure that you are um, scheduling your payments. I can't think of the word that I'm trying to think of right now. Man, Peachy, thank you for the super chats. Thank you for helping me get towards today's goal. Let me take a quick second for a little extra added appreciation on that.
Thank you so much. We do greatly appreciate it.
Okay. So, all right. So I was thinking on this point of never stop learning, making sure to focus on putting work into being mindful about your goals, not binge watching TV shows. And that made me think about Damon John, which you might know from Shark Tank and being one of the founders of the clothing brand FUBU back in the day, if you're old enough to remember that. But I listened to his book not too long ago, and I might have listened to it twice. And I'm saying listen because I'm not a big book reader, and I've told you guys this before. I listen to books, and in Rise and Grind, he talked about making sure that you're focusing on being productive. And one of the things that he touched on is that he doesn't watch TV. And I think when I sometimes, of course, I go on Netflix or a different app looking for a show. And yes, Boo Boo back in the day. Um, I did watch Beauty in Black. I've talked about that with Peachy that's in the chat right now, but it's not all the time that I want to take the make the commitment. Sometimes when I go in an app like I just mentioned with Netflix, I might look around and I say, no, I'm not gonna start a series because that's a lot of commitment. That's a lot of hours that is going to be spent in something that is not productive. So I have to think it through and maybe sometimes treat myself to a movie and not get caught up in a series because that's a lot of hours that's going to be invested into something that is not on my goal of being productive. So that's one thing. Are you putting in the work in order to gain more knowledge? And next up, make sure to invest in things that grow. I definitely do this, and I want to encourage you to do the same. Are you focusing on stocks, real estate, businesses, not cars and designer items that you cannot afford right now that are just being basically a liability to you. Yes, I do think that you should treat yourself. You deserve to have nice things, but can you afford it? Treat yourself to the things when you can actually afford them and you're not putting yourself into debt, especially if you haven't been focused on having that emergency fund, getting on track with your investments, those type of things. I want those to be the priority. So that is another point. Next up, let's go on to not relying on one paycheck, having multiple streams of income. And I've done videos and probably entire lives about making sure that you're not reliant upon just that day job. And making sure that you have sufficient savings if you are, because it could take a long time to get a new role or, how the economy is right now with rising prices, we have to be prepared. So, making sure that you have multiple streams of income. The average millionaire usually has about 7 streams of income. And I've gone through them in the past, the dividends, the real estate, another job, being on social media if you're able to have gain income from that. Okay, so now Peachy's saying multiple streams of income is definitely important, but you can't afford to save. You cannot afford to save right now. Peachy, I definitely want you to get on board with finding some amount, even a small amount to commit to for savings. Let me see. Thank you, everyone that's tuned in so far. Um, and let me see. All right, so next up, the rich that we are trying to, on our small budgets, trying to emulate, trying to follow in their footsteps, um, use smart accounts in order to build their wealth, making sure to maximize uh, taxes and different things like that. So they go ahead and have a Roth IRA that is growing tax free. They're making sure to take advantage of their employer's 401k and get that contribution. One thing that I do not do is another point that this article highlighted was having an HSA for health uh, costs. These are all ways that your money is going to be building and growing and working harder for you. And of course, taking advantage of that tax benefit because, you know, in the long run, when it comes time for retirement, we want to be in the best position possible and not be faced with any, tax burden. So this is another way that they're striving to build wealth. They're not just getting rich by luck. And I know it's not going to happen for me that way. I'm putting in just regular everyday work. I'm not, buying the lotto tickets. And I noticed the other day when I went to the store, I knew this was coming because I saw it in an article months ago that certain lotto tickets that used to be $2 are now officially up to $5. So, yeah, if that's anyone's vice out there, you know, that has also gone up just like everything else around us. Now, next point is rebalancing your portfolio, not just letting your money be on autopilot. And I was talking about this last week. I talk about this all the time. And, when it comes to retirement, when it comes to investing, I want us to be investing for 20, 30, 40 years. But I don't want you to turn a blind eye to it. It might not be a one size fit all thing that, what you got started with years ago. You might have started a job many years ago. Keep an eye on it. Make sure that you're keeping up with different investments that might be available to you. Lots of different things. Don't just say I'm a part of it and that's it. End of story. We have to be mindful and be putting in the work to rebalance if needed, add new things to our portfolios, whether it's in our retirement accounts or for me, I do a mix of different things. And like, for example, uh, XRP ETFs are going to be becoming available. So that's something new and different. And just because I had an investment plan and strategy and I've made my choices when it comes to crypto, now there's something new that I might be able to incorporate over at Fidelity in another account or something like that. So this is what I mean. Always learning, always keeping your eyes open, always being ready to evolve and change and not just think that one choice and that's it for the long run. You could be missing out on opportunity and the potential to build more wealth by keeping up with different things like this. So, what's up next? Real estate. Now, this is not an easy one, especially with the lack of in certain areas. I don't know. In my area, yes, the lack of inventory, the high interest rates, lots of different obstacles that I have been challenged with. But having real estate, um, having REITs in your investment portfolio, real estate investment trusts. If you've been here before, if you've ever watched one of my dividend updates, Realty Income, and there are many others that are the companies that um, hold all the properties for big name companies that stick to having those long-term leases. Like you have, the CVS and the BJ's and things like that, that usually when they move into a particular place, they're there for a long time. And using Realty Income as an example, these are tenants that also take care of the property themselves. So it allows the REIT, the holder of the property, to be even more profitable. So incorporating real estate into your portfolio is another way that you can bring cash flow over time. I am glad that I have purchased the home that I live in addition to into the rental properties, just alone from the appreciation of the value of the properties, in addition to obviously the rents that I collect, but just being able to know the value has gone up so drastically since I purchased the homes, it's worth it. So, next up is kind of related to what I just touched on. Sometimes you have to take on debt, but you have to take on debt smartly. And what I mean by that is taking on the mortgage that I had to in order to buy a rental property, for example. I was seeing the big picture, the long term potential, the return on my investment. And you know, I started off with that initial down payment. The rents do pay for the property as well as the maintenance, but I also still have a mortgage that I am paying on these properties. So it's okay. Debt can be a tool in order to build long-term wealth, but don't look at it as a trap. Sometimes you have to be responsible and put in the work on what you're going to take on the debt for to make sure that it is something that is worth you taking on the potential liability. But thankfully, in the things that I've taken on debt for, it's been worth it. So next up, thinking long term, um, being responsible in your decisions, making sure to incorporate not those hype stocks, not anything that is going to cause you any stress that potentially could lose your money. Ask yourself, does whatever decision that you're making, is it really going to help your future self. And I think the portfolio that I built and the decisions that I've been making, especially I would say in the most recent 6 years or so, have all been 100% on board with this because I want to make sure that I'm setting myself up for the future. All right. So, what's next? Get help. I did a whole episode about this too, about surrounding yourself with, people that are going to give encouragement, people that are on track, people that are more knowledgeable than you on certain things. And this is something else that millionaires are willing to do. Surround yourself, find a coach, find a um I can't I don't when I get up here is when the words just don't wanna come to my head. A mentor. Put yourself in the place where you're around people that, and I don't always mean that, it has to be free, but that you have to pay for these things. It could be free, it could be low cost. You have to figure that out, what balance is right for yourself, but be willing to search out what you need in order to have a good support for what you're striving to do, good guidance. I remember in one of the lives, I was talking, Peachy was here that week too, and she had shared that, she was on her workout journey and shared something with someone and they were negative about what she was sharing. And this is what I mean. We need to talk to people that are doing the things that you are on track to do because they can give encouragement, they can give you insights, they can just be helpful and knowledgeable on what we are trying to achieve. So I know, and I'm not, in that live, I said, I'm not trying to say write off certain people, but what I do in my personal life is I'll bring certain topics to certain people, and finance options, investing on behalf of my daughter or something like that. These are specific topics that I might not take, to someone that I know these things are not on their radar. It's not a priority. They have no interest. They're not going to have anything encouraging to say, no insights to bring to the conversation. So we can talk about something else. But we should be striving to get the help that we need. All right. So next up is protecting your assets. And what I mean by that is um, making sure that you have health insurance, life insurance, of course, property insurance, that you're prepared with that emergency fund in order to make sure that you are protecting what you have. The last thing you want to do is be sued, be in lots of debt, and just struggling behind um, something that should have been better managed. So, guys, feel free to leave any comments that you have on what I'm talking about today. Thanks, Rod and Lucy, and everyone that has tuned in. Fast Eddie, if you are still here, I appreciate it. Please make sure you give the live a thumbs up. Just taking a quick look. All right, so next up, planning for the next generation. And if I know a lot of us might not be in the financial place. I when I This is a couple years ago. I think I'm still in this place. Uh, People use the expression of, oh, here I go again with my brain not keeping up with my thoughts here. Um, oh well, never mind. Let me go on. So, planning for the next generation. Things that I've touched on that I'm doing, the custodial accounts, having a will, having a plan so that your money is not caught up. This is something I've seen a lot of when I've gone to look at properties that, the family is trying to sell the property, but at the same time, they're telling you all this detail of, I'm not sure when it's going to be out of, the court system and everything's going to be settled. So we can't give you a definite closing date or anything like that because people don't have anything in place, and then the family has to go through this process once they are gone. So just making sure that you're planning. Even if you don't feel like you have anything that significant, it has to be in writing in order to make sure that there's no confusion once you are gone. So many different things that we can do to make sure that our whatever we are building, that we are on track to build it, and whatever we have, it's once we are gone, it's passed on. We're passing on the knowledge. We're making sure that all the paperwork and everything is in place so that it can go to our family without any of the drama. So another point, this live is inspired by an article that I was looking at. And another point that they shared is giving back. And I'm also going to pair this point with taking care of your health. You know, you have to make sure to take care of yourself. And by doing that, by pouring into yourself, this could help your mindset of wanting to strive and give abundance to the people around us. So you could volunteer, you can, um, donate goods, do what you can in order to help those around us. And it can give you just a good feeling, a good energy towards the things that you are trying to achieve. And of course, as they say, health is wealth. So that's why I wanted to throw that in here somewhere because, we have to take care of ourselves physically as well as financially. So I've already touched on, surrounding yourself with winners as much as possible. And it might have to just be virtually if you don't physically have people like this in your circle. But, giving yourself the things that are going to give you the good energy. We may not have rich friends directly that we can talk to, but pick up a book, find your favorite YouTubers, find whatever you can in order to be on track and get good encouragement towards the things that we are trying to strive for when it comes to our finances. And I think I am almost to one of my last points. Reinvest the profits instead of blowing your gains. Now, I'm definitely doing this. When it comes to my dividends or anything, I'm always trying to use what comes in order to invest it into something that's going to build up to help me to strive for the financial freedom that I'm hoping for very shortly. Now, this comes with whether it's the dividends or the gains on your investments. Um, this is what I mean when I say I am a long-term investor. Yes, I do some trade sometimes, but when I get into a trade, I know it's a trade. My investments, I know they are investments, and I'm in the building stage right now. I'm not trying to tap into them. So just because a particular investment is up by 40 or 50% doesn't mean that I'm going to sell it just because the dividends are rolling in. And if I say, for example, I didn't have the drip turned on and it didn't get automatically reinvested, I'm not going to take those gains and go and use them for something outside of more investing because that's what that money is for. And if it's not needed, a day will come when I need to tap into these investments, but it's not here yet. I don't even, so I keep on saying, I think investing with Rod might have put this more into my head to say it out loud of my $10 a day that I've been doing into VTI. Maybe down the road, that will be a down payment, or who knows, if it keeps on building, it could be my next car purchase. But I have that mindset of I'm just going to keep on focusing on letting it grow, letting it grow, letting it grow. So reinvesting those profits and just knowing that you want to plant the seed and let it grow as much as possible. So that's all I really had as far as my points. Now, Thank you, Cutting Edge, and everyone has tuned in. Hi, Andre. I haven't seen you in the longest. Um, so, guys, let me know your thoughts on what I've shared today. I know I put out a video last night, talking about what happened in the stock market over the last week. And we have a lot of earnings coming up. So I highlighted that there. We had actually 4 days of gains when it comes to the stock market. We've been having a lots of ups and downs with the news and information coming from the White House is really having the stock market on a roller coaster, but we have to be ready for that. I It's a very different time that we are going through right now, a very unique situation, just like we've been through other very unique situations, like with COVID, but we have to be ready for the long-term potential that we have and the opportunities we have when they are in front of us, and just think about down the road. I do not think that there will ever be a time when the US economy will not come back and thrive. And so I'm thinking about the big picture when I continue to invest into the big name tech companies, the S&P 500, the US economy as a whole, you know? So, it may not be this year, but as an investor, I'm not just thinking about the short term. Investing with Rod, you're just giving me a why. Is that a yes to something that I said? So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. Let me see what else I have. So, really, all I wanted to do today was to just chat with you guys about making sure that we're using money as a tool and not feeling like we all have a different budget. We are not rich. I am not rich. Maybe you are. Let me not speak for you. But no matter what I do, I'm gonna do it on my scale, on my budget, and I just wanted to give us all encouragement that it doesn't matter what our budget is, we can strive to do what the 1% do. Now, obviously, they're gonna be able to build quicker than us, but let's tighten our belts. Let's try to do our best with what we have in order to make our money grow and um, not struggle in retirement, not struggle day to day now, but just thinking about the long term is also a big priority to me. So, out of the strategies and points that I shared, which one are you guys already incorporating? Is there anything that, like I said, shared about when I was reading um, Rise and Grind, the book that kind of inspired me to take a second and think before I get caught up in watching a TV series? Is there anything that has ever sparked you to say, "I can do things differently here. I don't need to spend money on this," or, I my time can be better spent by focusing on something that's going to be productive for me, and this is just too much focus on just entertainment. You're rich in your mind. I love how you simplify and explain info that is easy to understand. Thank you, Cutting Edge. Get that house with that $10 per day. I don't know about getting a house with $10 a day. Like I said, maybe a car payment from my $10 a day. Let's take a quick look and see. Just for you guys that are not familiar, how much is my $10 a day portfolio currently? And guys, my portfolios are down because the economy has been having its struggles. But let's see. All right. So my $10 a day portfolio is currently 7,000. $849, and I am still going. So, and yes, that has been going on for the last few years, $10 a day. So, when I talk about these small amounts, when I talk about you can invest as little as $1 at a time at Fidelity, $5 on most of the other platforms that I use, you got to think. I'm not saying to do it just for a short period of time. Um, Stick to it. And if you can do more than that, then do more. But after years of doing it, it can really add up. So thank you for that super sticker. V More, I appreciate you contributing and being another sponsor along with Peachy of today's show. Girl Dad, thanks for tuning in. Okay. She Reigns, thank you for tuning in. So, guys, drop any comments, questions that you have about the topic that I've been talking about or what I covered in my last video about the Mag 7 and the stocks. Any concerns, any I know we're all concerned and stressed. Maybe. I'm not really stressed. 'Cause I know that, um, I'm gonna give it time, you know? I know what I added into my portfolio, I did the work. I think this is something I might talk about next time around or in another live, is you knowing your why. Why did you add certain things into your portfolio? What are your goals? And when you put all the work into answering that question, then when things get rough, you know what to reflect on and you know um, what the big picture is. And so Vinny's saying that he thinks we're at the bottom when it comes to uh, what's going on. I really can't say. I don't have a crystal ball. I know that just like with the points that I was trying to share here about thinking like the 1%, I'm really truly doing this. Like a few weeks ago, we were chatting about Warren Buffett's portfolio and the amount of cash that he has on hands. And we talked about what NVIDIA and big companies have in their portfolios. And I'm not just talking about it just because, I'm talking about it because these are, we talk about Nancy Pelosi and the things that certain people are doing because we can take, like I said, on our scale, on our budget, we can take inspiration, we can take insights from what these people are doing that have already gained wealth and have built massive portfolios. Um, because in, incorporating the things that we went over today, incorporating what they are doing is what can help us to be on track to achieve our goals also. So, and as an investor, I had someone leave a comment and saying, you should have sold it all like at the beginning of the month. You should have sold it all, and then you could have bought back in at a lower price. And as an investor, and the tax implications of doing something like that, you have to make your own choices. That's not the way I'm going about my investing. Yes, my investments, when they pull back, they're looking sad. It's for me, that's just a part of investing. It's a part of being able to hold on to the investments that I chose for the long term, even when we're going through situations like this. I'm not jumping to get rid of, sell off an investment just to put it back into my portfolio. So, if anything, I've gone about taking on the approach of just buying more when the price is low, as opposed to selling, having cash, and then buying back in again. But to each his own, you have to do what's right for you. And, it depends on how much of a portfolio you have to start with. When I go about building up a position, I'm going to want to get it to a substantial place. So it's not something that I would be jumping to sell a substantial amount of shares just to get back into the same thing again. But like I said, depending on your personal choices, you have to do what's right for you. So thank you, Kevin, for tuning in. Rod is also saying that he is not stressed. He is seeing the buying opportunity that we have right now. Okay. All right. Let's see. Thank you for sharing me out, Kevin. And let me just take a quick look, see if anyone else has shared me out. All right. So let me see. Okay. So I'm about to wrap up, but as always, I want you guys to put the work in, even if it's quarterly, review your portfolio, keep your emotions in check. Even with the volatility and the roller coaster ride that we are on some days when news comes from the White House that really rocks the stock market, we have to be ready to just stay focused on what the big picture is. And I believe in the power of investing, of compound interest, of all of these things. What I share with you is really my journey and what matters to me in order to build wealth long term. So, if you're not already, make sure to subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, set it to all. I notice a lot of people that I go and visit their channels, it's not set to all, and I'm not getting the notifications. So set it to all so that you don't miss any of my upcoming videos or live streams. You know me, I don't have a definite schedule, but be on the lookout because I do put out videos throughout the week. You can support the channel by joining channel membership as well as using my links for Webull and Moomoo. Those are both platforms that I use on a regular basis, and I am totally comfortable and had a good experience with both of them. So again, thank you for those who gave super chats today.
Thank you so much. We do greatly appreciate it.
And I will see you guys next Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.